Hi guys, what is up? It is Sophie. Welcome to a new video. As of right now that I'm filming this, it's about to be May, which means I don't even know how many days of quarantine, like a month and a half now. And in this time, I have taken to watching about a series of a TV show per day. So I have watched quite a bit of shows during this time and just in general in the past. And so today I thought I would recommend you guys some TV shows and movies to watch during quarantine because who knows how much longer this is gonna last. And so yeah, if you're like me and you're running out of things to watch, hopefully I can recommend you something that you'll enjoy. Okay, so I made a long list on my phone and sort of like split it up by streaming service. So we're gonna start with Netflix because that's what I have most of my TV shows and movies on. First up, let's start with some TV shows on Netflix. So the first show I have on my list is the show Dirty John. Now this is based off of a podcast, a true crime podcast about a true story, basically about this woman who meets this man on a dating app, and she's like this wealthy, successful woman who has a couple of kids. She meets this guy on this app and basically he is not what he seems. And yeah, it's a really good show based on a true story. If you like the show You, then you will definitely enjoy this. Next up I have Ozark, which again is sort of like a thriller crime TV show because this is about a family that moves to the Ozarks to launder money. It's very dark, but very good, very well done. Season 3 was just added to Netflix like a month ago. So there's 3 seasons you can watch. Next up, oh my gosh, this show kind of makes me sad because I really enjoyed it, but there's only 1 season of it. And it is Spinning Out. This is a Netflix original that I think premiered on Netflix at the start of the year in like early January. And sadly they canceled it after 1 season, but I really enjoyed it. I still think it's worth a watch if you want just a good entertaining like teen TV show. Like it's totally like a teen soapy, you know, type of show. And it basically follows this girl who's an ice skater and she had a big injury the last time that she skated during this big competition. And so it's basically about her and ice skating, and it deals with mental health issues, and their love romance in it is so cute. And there's just lots of like plot twists and things you didn't expect. Okay, next up, again, another very soapy teen TV show, Outer Banks. This just got added to Netflix recently, and oh my gosh, I think I watched it in 2 days. It is so good. This one is about a group of teenagers who live in the Outer Banks, which I'm pretty sure is in North Carolina. Basically, the main character's dad disappeared looking for this like buried treasure type of thing. So it's him and his friends searching for that and him sort of searching for the truth about what happened to his dad. Again, so many plot twists and turns. The guys are super cute and the love like romance and ships in this one are super cute as well. Next up I have the show I'm Not Okay With This. If you can't tell, I really like Netflix original shows because this is another Netflix original. I watched all of this in 1 day, literally like last week. So cute. If you like The End of the Fucking World, you better be, you need to go watch this show because you will really like it. Totally the same vibe. It's basically about this girl who has sort of anger issues and she discovers that she actually has like these powers, very similar to like Carrie. If you saw the movie It, I'm pretty sure both of the 2 like main characters in I'm Not Okay With This were in that movie. But yeah, it's just like funny, a little bit awkward, sort of dark sense of humor like I'm The End of the Fucking World. It's by the same people. I'm pretty sure like directed or produced or something. So yeah, and all the episodes are 30 minutes long, and there's only like 9 or 10, I'm pretty sure. Next up, another Netflix original. I'm kind of realizing basically everything on this list is a Netflix original. That's because I didn't want to recommend like the big like TV shows that you've probably seen before, like Gossip Girl, Glee. That's what I'm rewatching now because I've run out of other new shows to watch. But yeah, I didn't want to recommend like the, you know, Grey's Anatomy type shows that you probably have already seen. I wanted to try to find some that maybe you hadn't heard of yet. So next up I have The Politician. This show, I'm trying to think of how to even describe this show. I'm pretty sure it's a Ryan Murphy show, he's the guy who did Glee, and he has a new show coming to Netflix next week called Hollywood, which I'm going to be watching. But basically the main character in this is like super determined to be the class president, and it's just like this huge, like, over dramatic, I would say, like, race to be the class president of his high school class. I don't know, I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. Next up I have Elite, which this is a show I've been keeping up with for a while now because there's 3 seasons on Netflix. And the 3rd season came out last month, so I watched all of that again in like 2 days because it was so good. This show, if you like thriller mystery type shows, again, you'll probably like this. It is about these kids who go to this private school in Spain. It is a Spanish TV show, but it's like dubbed over in English. One of the students gets murdered in the 1st season. As things go on, it just gets crazier. But yeah, and it's sort of like figuring out who did it. It's very good. Every season of it I've really enjoyed. Next up I have the show The Stranger, which is another like sort of thriller type TV show. As you can see, that's kind of my favorite genre of TV show to watch. So The Stranger basically follows, it starts off with this stranger approaching this guy and basically telling him this secret about his wife that he didn't know. It was like something that you wouldn't expect anyone to be able to figure out. Then as the show goes on, you see this stranger telling other people secrets, and like everyone ends up being connected in some way, which I think was one of the things I liked most about it, is that basically every character that you're introduced to is connected to another character. I think it's based off of a book too. Okay, next up I have the show Atypical. This is a really cute Netflix show. It's super funny. The show follows a boy who is in high school and then eventually in the later seasons in college, who has autism, and it basically just follows him, his life, his family. Basically at the start of the show he decides he wants to start dating, so it's sort of about him dating for the first time, being on the spectrum, and yeah, it's just a very like cute, heartfelt show. I really enjoyed it. I recommend it. I'm pretty sure every episode is only 20 minutes long, so it's a show you can watch pretty fast. Okay, next up I have a show that hopefully the 2nd season is coming out soon, and it is The Society. This show came out on Netflix last year, the 1st season, and if you haven't watched it yet, I don't know what you're doing because it was really good. It's basically about these students who leave to go on this field trip and then come back to their town and everyone is gone. So it's basically like them forming their society of all the high schoolers on the trip and stuff, trying to figure out why everyone has disappeared. And it's very much like Lord of the Flies, of like certain people are trying to lead, but then there's like other people who try to overthrow them, and then this whole time there's the whole mystery of like, why did this happen? And last on my list for Netflix TV shows, I have Never Have I Ever, which I just watched literally 2 days ago. I watched it all the day it came out because it was just a 10 episode long series, and they were all under 30 minutes. This show is by Mindy Kaling. If you didn't know, she plays Kelly in The Office, and she's done a lot of other stuff since then. Another TV show of hers is going to be later on this list. I thought overall, I didn't love it as much as some of the other shows on this list, but I do think it's like a cute, funny show to watch during quarantine. Basically, it's about this Indian girl in high school, and there's lots of like representation of different races, sexualities, etc. in the show, so it's very good on that. It's basically about her in high school sort of dealing with boys and crushes and parties and stuff, and just wanting to like have like a high school experience. And now for movies on Netflix, first up, I have my favorite movie of all time, The Edge of 17. This movie is like, I don't know what, it just speaks to me on another level. I love my coming of age YA movies, but this one just all the way up there. Like I've seen this movie so many times now, and every single time I watch it, I basically only allow myself to watch it now when I'm like really upset about something, when I'm like really in a crisis. This movie is going to make me feel better because I just relate to it on so many levels, and every time I watch it I like see myself in the movie in different ways, if that makes sense, like through the main character. Like I just relate to it in a different and new way. It's also hilarious. Literally makes me laugh and cry every single time. It's about this girl, Nadine, and she's 17. Basically her best friend starts dating her brother, and it's sort of just about her dealing with what happened to her dad, dealing with that and that whole friendship, and then just dealing with other high school shit, dealing with boys. Next up, I have The Bling Ring, which I watched for the first time like a week ago. So good. If you really like Y2K, like style and just all of that, like culture, which I feel like is really just making a comeback in terms of like popularity. I mean, I love it. I'm all for it. I follow so many of those like Instagram accounts where it's like the Y2K style, you know? So if you like that, then you will really like this movie because it takes place in the early 2000s. It's based on a true story, so everything in it actually did happen. And it basically follows this group of teens in LA who start to rob celebrities and break into their mansions. Emma Watson's in it, and it's just a really interesting story. Okay, next up I have The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which was added to Netflix earlier this month, and I watched it for the first time. I don't know why I had never seen it beforehand. I'd always wanted to, but it was just like never on streaming sites. This is such a good YA coming of age movie. I had read the book a while ago and I didn't love the book, to be honest, but I did enjoy the movie. It follows this boy named Charlie as he starts high school. He's a freshman and he becomes friends with all of these people who are his seniors, and it's just sort of about him. It's you know, it's coming of age. The end is really sad. Next up I have The Social Network. If you haven't seen this movie yet, I recommend it. I only watched it for the first time again during quarantine because I've never been a big movie person, so I've been watching a lot more movies right now. Okay, so this is basically like the story of how Facebook was created, you know, Mark Zuckerberg, how he created Facebook in college and stuff. Next up I have the movie Catfish. Now this is the documentary that inspired the MTV show. I am in a documentaries class right now, and for our final project we had to like pick a documentary to watch and do a project on it. So I decided to do Catfish because I had never seen it before, and I really enjoyed this documentary. It was very well done, even though like a lot of the social media and stuff in it is old. I still think the message is important and applicable to today's society. I mean, I feel like catfishing has only gotten worse as social media has gotten more popular. Overall, it's really well done, and I mean, the last half of it, I don't want to like spoil things, but obviously there's a catfish, and when you find out the story of the catfish's life and sort of start to get into their mind a little bit, see what their life is like, and I don't know. It was very sad. Next up, we have the movie Love, Rosie. I haven't seen this movie in like over a year now, but I saw that it was on Netflix still, and I wanted to put it on this list because I did enjoy it. It's a love story about these two people who have been friends their whole life, but all of this sort of stuff happens that prevents them from being together. There's a lot of things that I did not expect to happen. Okay, so now we are switching over to Hulu. To start it off, we'll do some TV shows. Now, the reality TV shows on Hulu are so much more superior to Netflix. Like, I'm sorry, Too Hot to Handle on Netflix was okay, but it doesn't stand anywhere near Love Island. So a lot of the shows that I watch on Hulu are just reality TV shows. To start it off, America's Next Top Model. This is just always a good, entertaining show to watch, especially if you like the fashion industry. This is a show that I can always just rewatch a season and I'm entertained. It's a good time. There's like 22 or 23 seasons of it, so there's a lot to watch. But yeah, the early seasons are just, there's something else. I mean, some of the stuff that this show got away with was not okay, but for the most part, it's a fun show. Lots of different creative photo shoots. Next up, another fashion related show, Project Runway. Hulu has a ton of seasons of this show. Again, I love this show. I love fashion, and the designers on the show are so creative. I recommend season 9 and 10. I really liked those seasons a lot, and also season 8. Season 8, 9, and 10 I think are my favorites, and those are all on Hulu. Love Island. I mean, it's my favorite part of the summer when the show is on, I swear. And they just did, the last season was a winter season. It was probably my favorite season of the show just because the couples in it were so good, so superior to the other seasons because they just seemed way more genuine, in my opinion, most of them. I'm talking about the UK version. The US version is not very good in my opinion compared to it. I didn't even finish it. But yeah, the UK version of Love Island, all seasons are available on Hulu, so I definitely recommend it if you haven't watched it yet. There are a lot of episodes per season, so this will definitely take you some time to watch all of it, but that's a good thing because you have plenty of time right now. And next up, I have Keeping Up with the Kardashians because you know what? Now is the time to just sit back and enjoy some guilty pleasure reality TV shows, people. I literally watched like the early on seasons only are like 20 minutes each an episode, so I literally watched like a season a day for a week, and it was a good time. It was very fun. Okay, next up I have a show that I'm currently watching, and it is Little Fires Everywhere. This is like a Hulu original show. It takes place in the 90s, which I think is really interesting, and it was also based on a book that I have not read, but I've heard it's very good. But yeah, I mean, the cast is great. Like, the two main characters are played by Kerry Washington and Reese Witherspoon. But yeah, again, this is kind of a mystery show, mainly just like a drama, but there is a little bit of mystery because the first scene of the show is basically like what the whole season leads to, if that makes sense. I have 2 episodes left until I'm finished. Next up, I have, like I said, I had another Mindy Kaling show on this list, and it is the Mindy Project. This show is really funny. If you like shows like New Girl, The Office, Parks and Rec, it's like a workplace comedy following Mindy Kaling as the main character, named Mindy Lahiri, and it's an OBGYN office. And yeah, all the characters are really funny. The relationships between all of them. I just really enjoyed this show. I recently, not during quarantine, before quarantine, rewatched most of it. Okay, next up I have The Handmaid's Tale. This is a show that I really need to finish watching during quarantine because it's amazing. It's so well done. If you don't know what it's about, it's basically in a futuristic dystopian United States. Infertility becomes this huge problem, and a lot of people have trouble getting pregnant. So basically all the women who are fertile, who aren't like rich and wealthy and very like important political figures, just get used as slaves to help the wealthy and prominent like families have children. It's very, very dark and sad, but like I said, it's amazing. Okay, next up I have Lost, and I said I wasn't going to be including like any of these like big TV shows that you've probably already seen before, but I'm adding in Lost because it has been a while since this show has been on air now. Like, it's been a while. So I feel like a lot of people my age maybe haven't seen the show, and if you haven't seen it, then like you need to get out and go watch it because it is so good. At least the first few seasons are. In the end it just gets a little too much, but the first few seasons are like amazing, and it was like known as like one of the best shows on TV for a while, but I never hear people talk about it anymore. Basically it's about this plane that crashes on this random mysterious island, and you sort of just see all the passengers who survive. You learn their backstories, why they got onto the flight, and I don't know, it's really interesting. Again, there's a whole mystery aspect to it. Next up, I have Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Again, this is a show that I feel like a lot of people have seen, and you probably have seen it, but if you haven't seen it yet, and you like shows, again, like The Office and Parks and Rec, it's a workplace comedy about a police precinct, the 99th precinct in New York City. I really enjoy it. Again, all the characters are really funny, and yeah, if you haven't seen the show yet, I recommend it. And then last up for TV shows, oh my gosh, this show, I'm Looking for Alaska. This show was a mini-series on Hulu, and it came out last fall, but it's based on the John Green book from however many years ago. I read it so long ago. In my opinion, they totally did the book justice in this series. It was so well done, and it's a coming-of-age TV show. This boy goes to this boarding school, and it's just about the people he meets and the relationships that he forms. I only have one movie recommendation on Hulu because when I was looking through their movies, I didn't see much that I had seen because I don't watch a lot of movies on Hulu. But the one that I did see that I was like, oh shit, I really love this movie, was Booksmart. This movie came out last year, and if you haven't seen it yet, you're missing out because it is really funny. Basically, it follows these two girls who, on their final day of high school, like right before graduation, they realize that all of the students in their school, like all of the popular kids, who like spent their high school years like partying and stuff, are going to like these like Ivy League amazing schools just like them, and they spent their whole high school career just focusing on school and studying. So they sort of decide like, okay, we're gonna have just one night where we're gonna go to a party, we're gonna be crazy. Everything that goes down is really funny. It's very like heartfelt meaning in the end. I literally saw it the month I was graduating high school, so it was a little like, it's a little emotional. And yeah, the last thing I have on the bottom just thrown in there, this isn't on any streaming sites like for free unless you know, use little 1, 2, 3 movies, but I put the Hunger Games movies because I rewatched all these movies a few weeks ago, and oh my gosh, like I forgot how good these movies were. Like, they deserved all the hype I gave them in 6th grade when I was obsessed, and literally this whole wall right next to me used to be a Hunger Games wall. Like, it was literally just covered in posters and pictures from the movie. If you haven't seen those movies in like a million years like me, you should rewatch them because they were really good. Like, wow. Okay, so that is all the recommendations I have for this video. I hope it gave you a new show or movie to watch during quarantine. And if you have any shows or movies that I didn't recommend, leave them in the comment section because I need some recs too. I hope you're all doing well and you're all safe and healthy. And yeah, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You can check out my social media to see what I'm up to when I'm not filming, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.